Welcome to Q&ASMR. Hello, I'm glad you can make it. These questions are brought to me by listeners like you. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy. Our first question comes from Dala. How many national parks does the U.S. have? That is a good question. The United States currently has 63 national parks. The first of these is shared by Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. Yellowstone. It was established in 1872 by President Ulysses S. Grant. The next two oldest parks are Sequoia and Yosemite in California. They are followed by Mount Rainier in Washington, then by Crater Lake, Oregon. South Dakota gets its first park next with Wind Cave. After that is Mesa Verde in Colorado, Glacier National Park in Montana, and Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. The Hawaii volcanoes are the next park established in 1916, well before Hawaii is even a state. California, currently the state with the most national parks, gets its third with Lassen Volcanic National Park, also in 1916, established about a week after Hawaii's. This is followed by Denali in Alaska. Grand Canyon, Arizona, and Acadia, Maine were both established on the same day in 1919, followed shortly after by Zion in Utah. Arkansas gets its first park with Hot Springs National Park. Following that is Bryce Canyon in Utah and Grand Teton, Wyoming, both established almost exactly 1 year apart. Carlsbad Canyons in New Mexico is next, followed by the Everglades in Florida, then the Great Smoky Mountains, shared by North Carolina and Tennessee. Shenandoah, Virginia is next in 1935, followed by Olympic National Park, Washington in 1938. We go back to California again for Kings Canyon, and then over to Michigan for Isle Royale, both established in 1940, about a month apart. Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, and Big Bend, Texas, come next and are the last ones established in the 1940s. While not yet a state, the U.S. Virgin Islands were established as a national park in 1956, our only addition in the 50s. The 1960s kicked things off with Haleakala in Hawaii, then Petrified Forest, Arizona, and the Canyonlands in Utah. Finally, we get the North Cascades in Washington and Redwood National Park in California, both established on the same day in 1968. Utah's Arches National Park is established next in 1971, followed shortly after by Capitol Reef, also in Utah. 1972 sees Guadalupe Mountains in Texas established, followed by Voyageurs National Park in Minnesota. South Dakota's Badlands National Park and North Dakota's Theodore Roosevelt National Park are both established on the same day in 1978. California's Channel Islands are established next at the beginning of the 1980s, followed shortly by Biscayne, Florida, and then Gates of the Arctic, Glacier Bay, Katmai, Kenai Fjords, Kobuk Valley, Lake Clark, and Wrangell St. Elias, all in Alaska, and all established on the same day in 1980. This is followed by Great Basin, Nevada. Another not yet a state, American Samoa is established as a national park in 1988. Dry Tortugas in Florida is the first of the 1990s, with Saguaro in Arizona coming next, followed by Death Valley and Joshua Tree, both established in California on Halloween 1994. The last edition of the 90s is Colorado's Black Canyon of the Gunnison. Cuyahoga Valley, Ohio comes next in 2000, followed by Congaree, South Carolina in 2003, and Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado in 2004. Our next is Pinnacles, California, which comes in 2013. 2018 sees the establishment of Gateway Arch National Park in Missouri. Indiana's Indiana Dunes is established next in 2019, followed later that year by White Sands, New Mexico. Last, and certainly not least, comes New River Gorge, West Virginia, which was established about a year after White Sands in 2020. Thanks for that excellent question. This question comes from Red. How many badges are there in the Pokemon series? What are all their names? A great question. I stopped playing Pokemon games in around the 3rd or 4th generation, so I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. They're in Generation 9 now, 8 badges per game, so it should be 72 badges. I suppose we can start with the 1st generation and count as we go. The Indigo League, the name of the Pokemon League in the 1st generation of Pokemon games, has 8 badges, and they may be the most well-known of the badges, as they were the first, and the most repeated. These badges are the Boulder Badge, the Cascade Badge, the Thunder Badge, the Rainbow Badge, the Soul Badge, the Marsh Badge, the Volcano Badge, and the Earth Badge. Next up, the Johto League also has 8 badges. These Generation 2 games also allow the player to return to Kanto and gain all the badges from the Indigo League. So the games have 16 badges, but only 8 new badges. These badges are the Zephyr Badge, the Hive Badge, the Plain Badge, the Fog Badge, the Storm Badge, the Mineral Badge, the Glacier Badge, and the Rising Badge. The 3rd generation has the Hoenn League, which also has 8 badges. They are the Stone Badge, the Knuckle Badge, the Dynamo Badge, the Heat Badge, the Balance Badge, the Feather Badge, the Mind Badge, and the Rain Badge. Generation 4 hosts the Sinnoh League with another 8 badges. They are called the Coal Badge, the Forest Badge, the Cobble Badge, the Fen Badge, the Relic Badge, the Mine Badge, the Icicle Badge, and the Beacon Badge. The Unova League, the next in order, actually has 2 slightly different sets of badges. In Black and White, they are the Trio Badge, the Basic Badge, the Insect Badge, the Bolt Badge, the Quake Badge, the Jet Badge, the Freeze Badge, and the Legend Badge. In Black 2 and White 2, most of these badges are the same, but the Trio and Freeze badges are no longer available, and the Toxic Badge and the Wave Badge are added in basically in their same places. This leaves the Unova League with 10 different badges to collect. Following that is the Kalos League, which goes back to 8. The Bug Badge, the Cliff Badge, the Rumble Badge, the Plant Badge, the Voltage Badge, the Fairy Badge, the Psychic Badge, and the Iceberg Badge. The 7th generation of games actually does not use badges. Alola has their own system of trials and stamps that they use to mark trainers' progress. The Galar League handles their badges slightly differently than all the previous leagues. Instead of being their own unique object, each badge in Galar is one part of an 8-part medallion, and each badge is named for the type of Pokemon that gym leader uses. Unlike most other games in the series, which version of the game you pick determines which of the 10 badges you collect. In all, they are the Grass Badge, the Water Badge, the Fire Badge, the Fighting Badge or the Ghost Badge, the Fairy Badge, the Rock Badge or the Ice Badge, the Dark Badge, and the Dragon Badge. Generation 9 shakes things up even further. There are the standard 8 gym leader badges as part of the Paldea League, but there are also 5 badges given out by Team Star bosses after you beat them, and 5 Titan badges which are crafted for you after defeating each of Paldea's Titans. In addition, Paldea League's badges are named for the town or city that they are from and do not really have names of their own. The League's badges are the Cortondo Badge, the Artazan Badge, the Levanesia Badge, the Cascarafa badge, the Medali badge, the Montenevera badge, the Alfornado badge, and the Glaciado badge. The 5 Starfall badges are named for the type that boss uses in battle, so they are the Dark badge, the Fire badge, the Poison badge, the Fairy badge, and the Fighting badge. Similarly, the Titan badges are named for the type of the Titan you face, the Rock badge, the Flying badge, the Steel badge, the Ground badge, and the Dragon badge. But those aren't the only badges we see in the Pokemon series. In the original Pokemon animated series, we are introduced to the Orange League, which takes place on the Orange Islands. This league also includes 4 badges: the Coral Eye badge, the Sea Ruby badge, the Spike Shell badge, and the Jade Star badge. Across the series, we actually see 4 other badges as well that do not come from gym leaders: the Pokemon League Admissions Exam badge, the Pokemon League badge, the Silver Wing badge, and the Cantonian Gym badge. The side game Pokemon Masters EX, which takes place in the Paseo region, hosts the Pokemon Masters League. This league only has 5 badges, which are the Tranquility badge, the Freedom badge, the Patience badge, the Harmony badge, and the Pride badge. So, for now, there are 91 known badges in the Pokemon series. But that might not be all of them. Pokemon Go offers a gym badge for those that interact with the gym and participate in the events in and around it. It has no real name, doesn't come from any specific trainer, and can be obtained multiple times from each gym you visit. I hesitate to call this a real badge, but it does exist. In the plot of the original games, Sabrina has actually evicted the previous gym from Saffron City. In the games, if you go there and beat their leader, he gifts you with one of their 2 prize Pokemon as a reward, but I guess they would have had a badge at one point. Very technically, there are duplicates of the original 8 badges that can be obtained as well. In the side game Pokemon Puzzle League, you participate in the Puzzle League. As you battle the Kanto gym leaders in puzzling, you earn their badges, but their names and stylings are exactly the same as they are in the Kanto region proper. The plot of the game also hints that these events may have been just a dream, so who knows. Finally, there's the mystery badges. Again, in the animated series, there are several characters that are shown having badge collections that feature some or none of the known badges for the region the show is currently taking place in. But the characters in the show treat these badges as if they were real. This implies a larger world than the view we get from the main characters as they travel, more or less, down the pathways we see in the games. But without the names of the badges or the leaders they were earned from or even the town they were earned in, I can't in good faith put them on this list. So that's that. 91 badges across Pokemon's history. 92 if you count the old Karate Dojo, at least as of the recording of this video, with around 20 to 30 hypothetical extra badges possibly obtainable from the TV show. Thanks so very much for that question. What a fun exercise. This timely question comes from Not a Turkey. What are the 10 most common dishes to make for Thanksgiving? Oh, what a delicious question. It has been said before, and I'll say it again. Thanksgiving has to be the most American holiday of them all. Food, food, and more food is what we make for Thanksgiving. But which foods are king? Unfortunately, there appears to be no right answer to this question. I did my best to find a list or piece of research someone did into the most commonly prepared Thanksgiving dishes, or the most popular, or the most purchased ingredients, but I could not find any. There are, and will always continue to be, dozens of articles on cooking websites, recipe websites, home and garden websites, editorial websites about the 12 best Thanksgiving recipes or what have you. But these tend to lean on search history or personal anecdote rather than hard data. And this kind of makes sense, right? Each region of the US, each culture within America makes Thanksgiving their own. What my family has always done at Thanksgiving might sound like exactly what you do, or it might sound totally bizarre depending on where you're from. So, with that in mind, here are, in no particular order, way more than 10 commonly made dishes for Thanksgiving, drawn from personal experience, pop culture, and a few top search results from websites like the ones I mentioned above. Bon appetit! Turkey, the Thanksgiving classic. Ham, often honey glazed, the go-to secondary meat for those that don't like turkey. Mashed potatoes, good anytime, great at Thanksgiving. Stuffing or dressing, different names for extremely similar items, always delicious. Green bean casserole, another Thanksgiving classic, this time for the vegetarians. Corn, whether it's on the cob, creamed, casserole, bread, fresh or frozen, you'll often find at least one corn dish at any Thanksgiving table. Rolls, really any kind of dinner bread, perfect for sopping up that leftover gravy. Cranberry sauce, a divisive staple of any Thanksgiving meal. Sweet potato casserole, how can you say no to marshmallows before you even get to dessert? Mac and cheese, a more modern classic, but a great addition to your Thanksgiving table. Apple pie, the American classic. Pumpkin pie, a fall tradition perfect for Thanksgiving. Pecan pie, another delicious fall tradition. Oh man, there are just too many good foods that can be made this time of year. I'm sorry, I'm absolutely certain I've missed at least one of your favorite dishes in my list. How about this? Leave a comment down below with your perfect Thanksgiving plate. I am so thankful to each and every one of you for listening. Have a safe and happy holiday. Thank you again to Dala, Red, and Not a Turkey. If you would like to have your question answered in a video, leave it in a comment below this one. If you would prefer to ask your question a little more privately, you can email me your question at questionsandasmr@gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more questions like these every week. Thanks again for listening. Goodbye for now.